Guilt. It is the single most painful thing that we experience in our civilization. Guilt is why we become who we are, who we don't want to be. Guilt is that feeling that we shut down our own joy, our own peace, in order to appease and to harmonize in a way that is discordant with your own essence, with your own truth, in order to somewhat keep the peace with the rest of the group, with the rest of the family, without the rest of the civilization. And it is in this way that we are guilted into heinous acts and crimes against what it is that we are naturally and imbued with this natural capacity to feel joy at any moment and at any place in time. That joy, that is completely your own essence. It is your own presence of, it's your own, it's what you deserve to be at all times. And guilt is rationalizing you to be not joyful at any other time than now. That guilty feeling that shuts down your own joy in order for you to be okay and be at harmony, quote unquote, with others in that moment is the thing that is rotting your soul to the very core and will rot this whole human race till the very end, to the very last day. And the guilt that we feel cannot be hidden or cannot be made unaware any longer. You know, we hide our guilt. We hide our guilt with our distractions, our possessions, our adventures, because we think that in order for us to, hence the name guilty pleasures. Like, we are seeking after pleasure, after pleasure, after pleasure, because we feel guilty about the pain that is constantly being reignited in us at every moment of the day, because we are going against our own nature, or going against our own truth. And if we are to take back the elegance and the beauty that is in life, that is inspiration to living, the beauty that we feel is the pure reason why we are still alive, is because we get to experience that amazing feeling of inspiration, of joy, of bliss, of happiness, of love. And the less that we choose to feel that because of the other person's reaction or the other person's thoughts or what you think the other person is thinking about you, the more that you will feel guilty, and the more paradoxical and turned in on itself, and the more complex your problems get, the more the personality becomes fragmented, the more that the united whole and complete version of you, which is at all times at every place as you are the one infinite creator, the more that you are guilty, the less that you can embody that. And it is time to give away all the guilts in your life. Give away every single guilty pleasure that you have, because only then will you be worthy of feeling joyful at all times. All the pleasures that you are somewhat feeling uneasy about, feeling, those things that don't really bring you the joy, the inner peace that you think it does or that you want it to do, just let it go, because that is a clear indication to you that it is now time for you to open up your possibility of feeling joy and bliss again in a new state, in a new fashion that cannot be connected with the past. It cannot be connected with your lineage. It cannot be connected with the people in your society, the people that are around you. That pleasure, which is not guilty, that love that is not full of scorn or hesitance or, of doubt, that love that is pure and whole and simplistic, that is complete as you are now, is what you are wanting to feel at. That's why you go to the job. That's why you go to the clubs. That's why you go to the party. That's why you go hang out with your friends, is because you want to feel that more and more. And if you take out of the equation the idea that you have to be somebody, that you have to be something, if you take that out of the equation, you can fast track your own awakening, fast track your own reprisal of your own essence and your own beauty and the own love that you experience, because it is now at that time when you are identifying the guilt that is coming up in your choices. When you identify that, whenever it comes out, because it'll come up every single day, and at some time in the day, the guilt that you don't want to go to work, but you have to, you think you have to, and you're telling yourself you have to, but you don't have to. The guilt that you feel that you don't want to go to school, but you think you have to because there's something or someone else that is going to praise you, that is going to give you a stimulus of pleasure later, and that is what is making you take the bait. And that is what's keeping you from actually attaining peace and completeness and wholeness now. Because you are infinite, you are intelligence, you are beauty. And if you wait any longer, your peace is going to be longer. Your peace is going to have to wait longer. So the guilt that we feel around people, around our family, around our coworkers, whoever it may be, that guilt is a clear indication to you that you are out of alignment with who you truly are, who you are as a bliss body, as a whole and complete beingness that can choose and experience peace at any single moment. It is not conditional to a certain circumstance or amount of money in your bank account. Your joy is not dependent on any of single external validation. And if we are to take into consideration that what we've been led to believe is making us feel guilty, what we have been told is making us feel this out of alignment, this bad, wrong feeling, ever since you've been small, ever since you've grown and learned the things of this culture, the things of this society, there's something been slightly off and you've always known it. And that thing is what the guilt is riding on. The guilt is hiding behind that wrongness that you are carrying around with you. And this guilt you think is you. This guilt you think is the identity, the person, the things that the person does to go out and please itself and feel love and joy through those physical means, but those physical means are just an externalization of and a complete fabrication and manifestation of you trying to ease yourself of that guilt, of that wrong feeling that you've always known to be. So if we take an examination and we really look at the guilt that we've had for our entire lives, the burden that we've been holding to make it as a person in the world, if we leave that, then we can truly attain a sense and state of peace one moment at a time. And the less that you identify with being a human, a good human, or a responsible human, or a a good son, a good daughter, a good mom, a good dad, whatever it is, whatever it is that is making you feel responsible for being a person is what's keeping you from actually loving yourself. Because responsibility is heavy, responsibility is burdensome, responsibility is something that you take on that you are not actually authentically born with. A responsibility is self-assumed, it is self-indicted and self-induced. So in order to reverse that which you have put on yourself, it is your responsibility to identify what it is that you are responsible for and how it is an illusory fallacy that you are somehow attached to the world out there, because what you are is not that. It is not it. What you are is thoughts are. The mountain is. The car is. The animal is. The grass is. Thoughts are. Reasoning is not. Guilt is part of the logic, the flaw in your own construct of reality that is continuously making an impact on your own decisions that are completely and utterly out of your own alignment, of your own ability to choose love in each moment and to choose peace, inner peace. This doesn't mean peace, this does not mean like being somebody's slave, because when somebody wants to enslave you, you automatically might want to bring peace to the situation and not want to fight with them, and you will maybe knowingly or unknowingly go under the enslavement of others, because you don't want to rile up or cause any disturbance, because that will ultimately lead to a potential threat to your own identity. The identity that you are human, the identity that you are a person. You don't want to threaten the existence of you being a human, and that is why you are under the spell of the enslaving mind, the mind that you are a mouse, you are a puppet to. It is not the mind that you are a puppet. It is not the mind that you are responsible for. Your responsibility is the feeling of joy, of feeling love in each and every moment and choosing that. And if your mind tells you you have to go through all these hoops and jump through all these things and acquire all these possessions and have all these friends in order to feel love, then the mind is playing a game on you. The mind is taking over your own identity, and you are allowing it to happen because you have taken that role as the slave, and you are essentially unwilling to confront that darkness or that evil. That I shouldn't be so dogmatic, but because you're not willing to really take into consideration what the peace and the obligation to follow along and kind of play the game with everybody else, because you are choosing to do that, you are thinking you are a person. And if you were not a person and you are not a human and you did not exist as a body, then you would be like, hey, wait a second, I don't feel right doing this, so I'm not going to do this. And you might get yelled at, you might get judged, you might get looked at weird, and all those things. And that is a clear indication that you are separating from the herd. You are separating from the collective. And the collective, might I add, is not perfect. To say the least, the collective is not perfect. And if you are to truly take the guilt out of your life, it is absolutely necessary for you to stop thinking that you are a person, that you are responsible to be a person, because the guilt comes from you not wanting to be a person on a subconscious level, but you are guilty of being a person each and every day. So that's why. That is why you are feeling it. And subconsciously, you feel something is wrong. You feel something is not right. So you then take on the responsibility of being a person again each and every day, and you go out and do what people do, which is, what do people do? I don't have to explain it to you. It's something you've been doing all your life. You feel guilty because being a person is burdensome. Being a human, the way humans exist now, is a burden on the soul, on the eternal essence of joy, love, and complete bliss that is available to you in each and every moment for your choosing. But you choose to continue the game, or continue the identification with the body, the identification that you are a person in society, a person in your family, a person in your friend group. You're continuing to pursue that and feed that because it could be many reasons, but ultimately is because you feel a sense of responsibility, of pressure, of that you won't be accepted and you won't be loved if you don't adhere to what people do, and you don't be a person. If you're not a person, then you are not loved. That's what your mind thinks. So it goes through all the hoops and does all the very heavy responsibilities and disturbances to your own peace. So you choose. Are you going to stop being a person? Love you guys. Thank you for watching.